G'day everyone, Gareth here from Organic Growing Melbourne. So today's video is going to be a garden tour, February update. Fair bit's changed since my last update, obviously. But I thought we'd start at the black sapote. Actually, no we won't, we'll start at the kiwifruit. The kiwifruit. So here we have one male, two females. This season we do have some fruit. I thought there was 5, there's actually 6. One there, one up there. Where are they? One here, another 2 just here. Not a huge crop, but it is its first one, and growing extremely vigorously now. It's compared to last season, I did no pruning last season, and I've done 3 prunes this season up the top here, just to keep the height down and stop it from falling over into the neighbours. And as you can see, it's ready for another prune. That's just over a metre growth since I last pruned it, probably exactly where that one's come out. Yeah, it has. So 3 prunes, you can see it comes out as well. I had them actually out onto the swing here, that's how far they go. If I left them going from the first prune, I reckon they would have fallen over onto the house next door. They're very, very vigorous. You need an extremely strong trellis for it to grow on, which is separate to the fence. And then I've got wire, a clothesline wire, for it to grow along. Kiwifruit, when they get really established and start producing lots of fruit, the kiwifruit grows in bunches, like almost like grapes almost. And can get very, very heavy. So if you're growing it just on a fence, it could bring your fence down, especially when you have a fence builder that built the one over there, which is terrible. Alright, let's go back to this black sapote, which we have the two grafted varieties here. One being the colossal, which produces massive fruit, still flowering. As you can see, there's an open flower here. I haven't seen any fruit set yet, but generally this is going to be too young to produce fruit, and they'll end up probably all falling off. You can see the flower here, another one here. A bigger one down here, look. Oh. But if you look at this one, this particular variety here, which is the Branica variety, this is also producing a lot of flowers and still no evidence of any fruit set yet. Again, very young. That tends to be what happens with the black sapote. Just drops a flower. You can see that would have been the fruit inside there, but like I said, too young to probably hold on to any type of fruit. The strawberries, oh look at this, like seriously, these strawberries aren't even ready, and something is just, I came out here earlier and that was a perfectly good strawberry, that one, just like that one. I need to get some netting on there and protect these, because I haven't had a strawberry yet. There's some beauties in there. And I was at Bunnings today, damn it. Okay, if you remembered, I butchered my nectarine and my plum. I sort of gave up because of the brown rot and thought, you know what, time to just hack them back and start again. As you can see, the plum has just bounced right back with a heap of growth, and it actually even went into flowering again on this particular branch here. But as you can see, a lot of new growth, a lot of new growth. On the other hand, the nectarine hasn't had any new growth yet, except for a little tiny branch here, which isn't exactly where I want it to come out of. But it's not dead. She'll come back. She'll come back. The next plant, we'll go over to the custard apple here, which is sort of looking a little bit sick. I'm not too sure. The potting mix looks okay. But we're still getting some new growth. It's just very lanky. Not much leaves. We'll see how it goes. I just think it needs to grow up a bit, get a little bit healthier before we start seeing more vigorous growth this time of year. And then we've got the miracle fruit again. The slowest growing plant I have. We're into the second year I've had this now. It hasn't grown much at all. It still gets all this new growth, and then we start to lose some leaves and it starts to look really sick. All the leaves sort of start to die off at the end here, but it's always giving out a little bit of new growth. So hopefully, again with this, once it gets a few years old, hopefully it'll pick up the rate a little bit. One of my newer additions, doing really well. Probably needs to go into a bigger pot already. It's the macadamia. Only in a small pot. Again, probably protect it this winter. But it's actually grown a fair bit. I think it was probably about this height when I got it, so it's grown a few inches already. And I definitely think that needs to go into another pot maybe. I'll look to see if there's any roots coming out the bottom. Alright, now we go over to the soursop. This one's surprising me. It's got a fair bit of growth on it. This will be its second year I've got this. This has survived a winter already, but it does die back a bit. I don't like my chances with this one. Although it survived a winter already, I just don't think it's going to cope. But I won't give up yet until every single branch is brown and dead. That's when I'll give up. And then we're over to the yellow Jaboticaba, which grows slightly different to your regular Jaboticabas. It doesn't grow the fruit directly on the trunk of the tree, it's more to the ends, but still it's a Jaboticaba. And I've become somewhat addictive to growing Jaboticaba, even though I haven't even tasted the fruit yet. For some reason, like my avocados, I've just gone crazy on them. The lychee. Now the lychee did flower, but unfortunately it didn't develop any fruit. It's the Bosworth. Some of you know that I did have another one which unfortunately died. It never had a chance, to be honest. It came through the postage the same time as this one, in the same box actually, and we had last year we had 3 days when it was at 35 plus, and for some reason this one survived it but the other one didn't. But as you can see, there's a lot of new growth towards the bottom here. This particular branch here has sort of lost everything and it's dying back. but all this here is all new growth up the top now and in there as well. They're doing really well. Another one that needs a lot of protection when they're young like this. We got the giant Jaboticaba at the back here. Or, I say it a different way every time. Jaboticaba. This is the giant Jaboticaba, and you can see a lot of new growth on the tips here. It's doing really well. So really happy with that. Here's another one that surprised me. My Relinia, again, Brazilian custard apple. Again, lots and lots and lots of new growth. As you can see, very, very surprised with this. Super sensitive to frost, but seems to be doing okay. And then just out the back here, we've got the Pinkerton Avocado, which is a dwarf variety and an A-type variety. Starting to get some good growth on it as well. A little bit of new growth down the bottom here, and doing really well. Again, this will stay in the pot for a bit, strengthen it up a bit. And eventually go in the ground. Not too sure where, but squeeze it in somewhere. We've got the large leaf Jaboticaba, and this one's actually picked up quite quickly now with its growth, getting a lot of new growth. Everything seems to be getting attacked by aphids this year. So I've been keeping an eye out, because they can really put your trees back. You can see all this leaf curl here. So something's obviously attacked it. It's only on a couple of branches, but it seems to be doing okay. But we'll definitely keep an eye out on it. And then we've got the what do we got here? The cherimoya. Again, this is really taking off, this one. As you can see, all this new growth here. All this new growth this season. It's still putting out new growth. I'm ready to put that one in the ground. I'll put that at the front. That's doing really well. And then 3 different varieties of Jaboticaba. We have this tag here, you can see that's the scarlet. And then we've got the costada just in here, and both of those are a dwarf. And then if we look back here, we got this other red hybrid as well, which is a dwarf. All pretty rare, pretty hard to get, but super happy now. I have quite a large collection of Jaboticabas now. There are a lot more out there, and I'm in the process of hunting them down. I have been given some good contacts on some people in Australia that grow them. Orange, doing okay. Aussie just jumped up on top of the compost bin. What are you doing, buddy? Say hello. Aussie, say hello. You're a good boy, eh? Hey? Stay there. He jumps up onto me. Orange has decided to come into flower again. I've got a few more this year. Remember last year I got 1 orange. They've got a few here this year. Doing really well. You know what? I can't remember the variety. I think it's, oh no, I can't remember. I can't remember the variety. It'll probably come to me again another day. And then we've got the star, what was I going to say? The carambola, the star fruit. Looking extremely healthy. This is the curry variety. And This is a grafted one. Better loosen up this tag a bit. There's the tag there if you want to read that. But this is just sent out a massive amount of new growth, and just looks lush and green. Super happy with this. I did bring this out into the open when we finished with the frost, and just the temperature, just the mild high 20s seem to have burnt the leaves. I don't know why. I mean, I'm presuming that's what it was. And I then put it underneath the avocado tree, and it seemed to push out a heap of new growth. And then I've just sort of got it at the edge of the drip line of the avocado tree now, and it gets a little bit of afternoon sun. Obviously when the nectarine was not butchered, we had a lot of shade as well in the afternoon, but we haven't had any really intense heats that have hit 35 plus for quite some time now. Obviously if it did, it would go back under the avocado tree. So super happy with this, and this is another tree that will eventually go in the ground. My Hass avocado still holding on to lots and lots of fruit, as you can see. Avocado still plentiful, and again these taste nothing like your store-bought avocados. There's a whopper right there. The neighbours have been very lucky to be getting free avocados, and they've all messaged me, and also my wife's a school teacher, and she's taken many of them into school to some of the teachers, and they've all messaged back saying they cannot believe, well, first of all, the size of them, and how much better they taste and how much creamier they are. So we've still probably got half, I reckon. We've probably eaten and given away probably 50, I reckon, and it's doing absolutely amazingly. What's going on here? It's odd. Oh, that's where I pruned it years ago. And then of course you've got all the new fruit that's coming through. This is a bigger crop than last year. I'm going to guess, if you look around, they're a lot harder to see because they're a bit smaller, but so we've got some avocados actually really starting to ripen on the trees. You can see how they're starting to get that dull look, and I don't particularly want them to be falling off, so I might harvest a few of them. I've looked into preserving avocados and I can't find any good recipes that I like. It looks like you can preserve them, but they really only last, I don't know, if you're lucky, a month. But I think the best way to preserve an avocado is to leave it on the tree. I mean, I could have picked this one 2 months ago and it would have been ready to go, but they just stay on the tree, so you might as well just leave them on the tree until you eat them. And I think we're going to get some whopping avocados. Unfortunately, I mean, if you can see these, they're looking mighty good. These ones just get brutalised from the sun because it hasn't grown any new growth on the top of this yet. But if you look at these ones here, we're getting a lot of new growth coming out, protecting them. So these could end up getting really badly burnt, and it's the biggest bunch. Look at that. There's what? 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I think. 14 avocado just on that one little branch. But yeah, there's definitely, I'm going to say 200 plus this year. We had about 100. Well, these ones here, there's about 100 of these. So super impressed. Alright, just had to have a small intermission then. Wife and the girls are going for a walk. And yeah, so look, I hope this comes up in the video. It should. They're just everywhere. Everywhere. That puts a massive smile on my face seeing these. There we go. And then what we'll do now is we'll move over to my bananas. If you go back to some of my videos, you would have noticed that I think it was these two here, and actually these three I think, were they looked as though they were dead. They had just this tiny little stump of a banana coming up. They were ruined by frost, and I said they'd come back, and they have. And these three here are a dwarf variety. That one is not. That one behind this big one here is a ladyfinger. Cavendish dwarf, I think. Possibly all of them. I can't remember. Some of the tags are gone. There is a tag over there for the big one, but I can't. The tags have gone. They've disappeared. But all coming back. Obviously, it'll be a while before we get any fruit off these ones. And then we've got the Davison's plum, which I planted. I did a planting video of this this tree, and it's doing fine. In fact, it's actually sending out a little bit more growth here, as you can see. Unfortunately, I had one of these fall off and landed on it, and it's bent. It may have even broken. Yeah, you can see. I think it's broken a couple of these branches. It broke a couple of the bananas as well, but they're fine. No fruit on the Davison's plum. I'll say that again. No fruit on the Davison's plum yet. Maybe next year. I know George from Real Life Fruitopia. He put his Davison's plum in the ground at quite an early age. A lot smaller than this, and his fruited. He got one plum. Or actually, he may have got a couple. I can't remember, but definitely putting in the ground looks as though it would help these. I was a bit worried about putting this in the ground because these trees are, I think, native to Queensland, and sort of in the subtropic and tropic area. So I was worried about the frost, but I think this is going to be fine now. Looking at other people's Davison's plums in the ground, they look as though they're doing pretty good. And the advantage of a Davison's plum, although the fruit is pretty much not really edible fresh because it's such a sour fruit, but to make jams is a bonus. Plus it's a very slender tree, so it will just go straight up and not take much room. So I think it'll fit perfectly in between the two avocados here, and then tower above the bananas and create a little bit more shade for the bananas. You don't want to give your bananas full shade. They do need to have some sun. The Hass, this is the lamb Hass, which is pretty much similar to the standard Hass. This is a dwarf variety, and the fruit are bigger. So, but this is not looking good. I don't know what's going on with it. It's just not giving me any growth. You sort of get these little buds, but I'm really not getting any growth out of this. And compared to hello Aussie, he's back. Compared to this is Aussie, everyone, if I haven't introduced him before. He's a little Italian greyhound. Beautiful dogs. Second one I've owned. Very, very affectionate. Yes, so I don't know what's going on with that. Chickens want out. I might let them out when I go in to see this other avocado. Oh, I've got my what is it? Passion fruit here. This is just the standard black non-grafted variety of passion fruit. I think the chickens probably peck the leaves, but it's starting to take off a little bit now. Apple, again, this is only its second year in the ground, actually, sorry, first year in the ground. I'll have to look back at that. It's either, let's say it's in its second year. Getting a lot of new growth. This tree is going to be sort of I'm going to prune anything off the back and the front and sort of have it grow over this doorway when it gets tall enough, or slightly over, to give the chickens even more shade. And there's apples. There's a few little apples on there. Can't remember what variety this one is either. I do mention it in my other videos. God, must be my old age, I'm losing my memory. Alright, let's let these chickens out so I can get in here. Here they come. This one here will peck my legs. Watch this. Comes straight down. There we go. This one will follow me around everywhere and just peck my legs and feet. These ones not so much. Look. No, good, he's not following. She's not following. Alright, let's go have a look at the Forte avocado. The most vigorous avocado I have. I cannot believe how fast this grows. I have pruned one branch off here. I don't know whether you can see in there, but just at the bottom here it was sort of heading down and growing into this corner, and there was no point it being there. So I've also tied this branch and pulled it back off this to get it to come out of the top of this chicken coop. I can actually take this wire off here and reach in if I need to. I'm guessing possums and whatnot are getting onto this fence and chewing the tops here and here where they can reach. You can see the middle. The middle's not affected, but they're eating the tips. Never mind. They can eat some of the tips. But that's the Forte. Super aggressive growing avocado. And looking extremely healthy as well. Getting lots and lots of new growth. And again, take note, this avocado is the same age as the next one I'm about to show you. So what's this? This is, I'm just shy of 6. So my head is level with this part here, and we're, I don't know, half a foot over the top of that. So let's say almost 7 foot tall, this Forte. And then we've got a bacon avocado. Actually, before we go to the bacon, the grapevine, which for 2 years hardly did anything at all. I must get rid of these weeds. And this season, it's right up here now. I'll prune that right down to the bottom here though, and pull all this out of there. But eventually that I want it to pretty much cover just the front of it, and any other new growth will just get pruned through the year. Now I do believe you can't over prune grapes in the growing season. They can like bleed out, so to speak, and you can cause some major damage to the grapevine. I'm not too sure whether that would probably be the same for like an ornamental, but I'm always confused on why people buy ornamental fruit trees when you don't, you know, reap the benefits of what they can produce. So, and an ornamental one, it is so vigorous. In one season it could literally take over this whole cubby. It's just crazy. But I believe if you prune too much, you can cause damage to the grapevine. Alright, let's go over to the bacon. So you see the bacon here, see the difference in size. And we have, still, we've got the 2 bacon holding on. And lots of new growth too. Come on, out, Aussie, off. Lots of new growth. This new branch If you remember, I had this in a pot, I dropped a ladder on this and it took this whole side of the avocado out and it's brought out a whole new branch. Look, I don't know if you can see that. I might try and get over here. Just here. Brought out this whole new branch to sort of fill up this gap, and just multiple branches coming out. Just can't get over how beautiful the avocado leaves are. And then of course in here I'm growing some watermelon, but the last 2 years we've have just not been the greatest for growing things like watermelon. It's just the heat. They just want the heat and we're just not getting it. And again, a lot of the stuff I'm growing is very, very late in the season, and I'll show you a good example of that when I go over and show you the bamboo. So there's the bacon avocado. I swear I forgot to show you one. Maybe I'll find it. My fig. This is the cutting I took off the fig that was just here, and unfortunately passed away from wet feet. The amount of rain we had this year has been ridiculous through the winter and summer, and all this flooded in here. It's like a bog. You walked in here and you'd almost sink sometimes. And so this was a cutting I took, and seems to be doing alright in this pot. I sort of have it a bit further away from the sprinklers so it gets a lot less water than the avocados and watermelon and whatnot. Because again, you don't want to overwater figs. They don't need any more. They don't need as much water as things like avocados and watermelons and all the other tropicals I've got. And then we'll come over here now and we'll have a look at my blackberries. The thornless Chester, and we've eaten a little bit of fruit, not much, but very vigorous. As you can see, the growth is out here all the way over to there, so it's a good 1, 2, 3. It's almost 3 meters wide. I'm gonna have to try and put this somewhere and try and tie these branches up. I'll look into that. I don't want them growing along the ground like this. But they're very, very, very nice flavour. The sweet potato, which is going crazy in this little box here. I'll wait until this starts to die back before I start harvesting. I'd show you, yeah, look, I'll show you my tomatoes. I'm not very good at growing tomatoes. I started training them, taking the tips out, and then before I know it, they've gone crazy on me. It's just like, seriously, the fruit in here is grown into these massive clusters, and all my tomatoes are now going really woolly. And you open it up, and let's see if I can open this one up, and it goes really woolly. There's probably a good example down here actually, because I was checking them this morning, and they just go really, really woolly, and they're not pleasant to eat at all, as you can see. So yeah, it's a shame, and they always seem to do that, and I think I'm overwatering them. I think that's the reason. And in fact, please, if anybody knows why tomatoes go woolly, let me know, because I think it's too much water, and these are irrigated, so maybe I should halve the amount of water. But I'm going to pull all these out, empty all these bags, and then I'm going to plant some onions and beetroot and some other stuff in here as well. This is my don't laugh, this is my seedling avocado that is so root bound. Like, it's pretty much just roots left in here, and I've just been lazy, and I just have not. I had 5 days off through COVID, and I just didn't do anything about it. Every day I looked at it and said, I better repot this, but never got to it. And this is why it is looking like that. Yellow, some leaves are gone. I think I need to put it in the ground. The plan was to graft to this and have multiple avocado varieties onto this, but never got around to it. I did graft some avocados early in the season, and none of them took. Wrong time of year. I think it just was the wrong time of year, and the grafts all failed. Alright, now we'll go over to this giant bamboo here. Again, very, very late in the season, and if you look at some of my other videos, you'll see the difference. This is even later this year. This is all obviously last year's growth, and these have just started coming out in the last couple of weeks, and you can see some new bamboo shoots coming out. You can even see them actually coming out and working along the ground before they shoot out. And there's another one underneath it. There's another one here. Another one just here. I'm keen to get this. I want this plant to be able to grow bigger canes, and then when these get to about 1 foot to 2 foot, I want to cut them out, harvest them, and I want to cook up some bamboo shoots, because this is an edible variety. Here's another one just here, and I did see another one here. These two here, there's one there and then one underneath, but again, late in the season, so they may not make it. As soon as the temperature gets cold, they just rot and you lose them. I lost a lot last year, but we'll see how that goes. Let's go over here. We'll have a look at the plum tree. This plum was removed from a location and placed here, heavily pruned back, so there was no fruit on it this year. But next year, if we don't get all of it flooding again, we should get some fruit off that next year. The cherry here, which is the Stella variety, again, we didn't get any fruit. Flowered, produced some little tiny ones, but never eventuated. Starting to grow some more little buds though, which is surprising. Maybe this will flower again. You never know. That's the Stella. I believe the Stella variety is a dwarf variety. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I did some reading up on the Stella, and I did read somewhere that they did say it was a dwarf variety. It doesn't say it on the label, but it definitely is growing like a dwarf would, sort of like stunted and short, the growth. The pear, this is one of 2 pears, both obviously flowered. They would have cross-pollinated, and this is the only one that actually produced some fruit. I lost some fruit due to cockies. They came in and they just gnaw it, drop it out, they don't even eat it. So I used to feed all the cockies and stuff, but now I just don't anymore. They're just destructive. In fact, they landed on a branch and snapped the branch, which had 2 pears on it. I've actually harvested one, which was the biggest one, and it's inside on the counter ripening, because I've never grown pears before. I don't know when to pick them. Like this particular one says they stay firm, and to harvest them firm, and then ripen inside. But again, this is getting a lot of new little growth on it as well, so that's fine in that area. That's suffered obviously with the wet and moisture, all right. And it's obviously beneficial to have 2 pears to cross-pollinate. In fact, when you go to a nursery, it'll tell you on there, it should, here we go, cross-pollinators. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pears you could purchase to cross-pollinate with this one. And then the ice cream bean. Since I put this in the ground, this is going crazy and it's looking healthier. So when it was in the pot, it would sometimes drop a lot of leaves and start thinning out and looking quite ill. And I would, I'd fertilise it. I'd sort of put it in a different position. I put it in the ground, and it has gone crazy. It's getting wider. It's getting stronger. This branch wasn't even here. All this, like from here, all this is all new growth. You can see it all this. All new growth since I put it in the ground. It's gone crazy since I put it in here. The chickens are getting up. Look at the chickens, they've annihilated it. They come in here and dig up all the mulch. Just put that in there to try and give it some sort of protection from them. Hey, get away from me. You peck my legs, don't you go in there. Yep, that. This is the other pear, which I brought to cross-pollinate with that one. This is definitely, hey, this has definitely had a lot more growth than the other one, for obvious reasons. That one has fruit on it, this one doesn't. If I was to take all that fruit off, or took it off when it was young, of course it would have grown a lot more. So that's my cross-pollinator, both delicious eating, but obviously if you're going to grow pears, I'd recommend getting a pollinator. Even same with apples. I have 2 apples as well to cross-pollinate, and here's the other one right here. I've already eaten an apple off this one, which wasn't quite ripe, but it was edible. And again, like last year, it's oh look, here we go, look at these. This is what I mean by aphids. Aphids and ants. Yes. So this will have to get treated again. They seem to be just on that new one. Oh, look under the leaf there. Gee. There, look. There. They like the new growth. Some more under there. So this will have to get treated again. Never ending. When you've got this many fruit trees, it's never ending. Yacons. Doing really, really well. Oh look, I've just noticed. Now, if you're not sure about what Yacons are, I highly recommend Googling it, YouTubing it, watching videos on it. This is probably up there with one of my favourites. It's got this awesome tasting tuber, and it's related to the sunflower. And I've just noticed my very first Yacon flower, and you'll notice straight away why it's related to the sunflower. It's almost identical, isn't it? That is really exciting, because mine didn't flower last year because I harvested it too early. Oh, I didn't harvest it too early. I deliberately harvested at that time. Oh, there's another one there, look. Super excited. Oh wow. So I've got one. I can see a flower bud in that one. But how awesome. And it looks like it's going to have multiple flowers. So there we go. Yacon flowering. Yeah, beauty. Oh, I can't wait. I generally harvest these like last year. I collected all the so you eat the tuber, right, which is just here, and then you've got the rhizome here, which is already sprouting out new growth, and each one of those little knobs you see there, that one, there's some new ones coming out here and here. Look at them all. Each one of these little knobs that you see here is potentially a new plant, and it's going to be a massive cluster of them, and you'll probably get anywhere, oh I don't know, I'm guessing you could probably make 50 plants from just a couple of plants, maybe more. And what I do is I divide them up, put them into some pots with just a cheap ass potting mix, but not overwater it. And then when they start coming up next season, I replant them and then I give a heap away. The bananas, still no signs of flowers, which should be off this one first. This is the grandmother, although this one looks as though it's taller, only because it's straight up against the house. Even that one does. But again, no flowers, nothing to report. Continually taking out the pups. As you can see, and I've just noticed I've got 23% battery left. Over 25 minutes I've been going, and I've got 22% left. That's going really quickly. Red Dakar, I've got, I can't remember them. Cavendish maybe, I can't remember. The blood plum, dropping a lot of the fruit. It's still not ready yet though, I think because it's the location. Oh, the blue guava. This is a new addition, the blue guava, and it's just sending up a new leaf just here. So happy with that because we busted one off here. It must have come off in postage. We got the Panama Gold passion fruit. This is a tropical, subtropical passion fruit. Haven't put it in the ground yet, obviously. Haven't decided where to put it yet. I want to grow it up a tree, like I have to the one at the front. But I just haven't chosen whereabouts yet. Some avocado. So these are the grafts that failed. Oh no, maybe they're not. That one is. You can see the graft failed, so I took it off and it's just shot out more. And there's another one that failed there, but this one looks like it's dead. Tamarillo, looks like I need to stake this up. It's getting so heavy now, it's sort of leaning out. I definitely don't want that to bust, so these stakes are going to have to be moved and this has to be propped up. This is another one that gets attacked by aphids, so I'll need to fix all that up, get rid of these aphids as well. We've got the other, we'll go out here. We've got the other Tamarillo, so that's the red variety, that one, which I've been told is the supreme or premium variety, and this is the what do they call it? I've got a tag here, just the standard Tamarillo, which is more of an orange colour. There we go, and there's lots on that one too, and still flowering as well. I've got the ginger, which is still flowering. A beautiful fragrance. It smells amazing. Highly ornamental, that. Won't worry about any of that. That's all just to fill the room up. Cucumbers, still harvesting cucumbers. There's one ready at the back there. There's another little, there's a couple of Lebanese. It's a burpless out the back there. And then we've got some demented ones. Another one there, look, still flowering, still producing a lot of fruit. All the corn's been harvested. I've preserved some, given some away. I've got another crop growing in here, and then I've just planted some more seeds in here as well. So you've got, I don't know, roughly a month between that and that. In fact, I can just see there, one coming up there, another one there. You probably can't see these in the video, but they're just starting to poke through now. Another little one there. If I don't get this video finished in time before the battery runs out, I'm going to go charge it and then finish up the video. Asparagus, have a look at this one. I just noticed this. Seriously? Seriously? Look at the size of this. Oh man. Have a look at the size of it. You can see it's getting eaten at the top here. I'm going to have to put some more snail pellets in here. But these are the asparagus I was really worried about because they weren't doing anything. Now they're just going crazy. But look how thick some of this asparagus is. I haven't actually checked on these for quite some time. Look, hang on, I think this is the white variety. Have a look at how thick this avocado is. Asparagus. Wow, I almost want to take that off and taste it to see if it's any good that big. And again, it's a bit slower down the back here, but as you can see, there's some beauties in there too. And I don't want to eat any of these. I have done a sneaky test, but I want to make sure that these grow and get really strong before I start harvesting. That's pretty much the rule of thumb, is don't touch it the first year, let the ferns grow out so the crowns establish, and then the following year you can harvest about 15%, and the following year maybe 30 or 40, then 60. But you always want to let the ferns grow out. You don't want to harvest the whole season just completely taking every spear that comes up, otherwise your crowns will die. Alright, we just got this last bit here with 13% battery left, which are some more tomatoes which I'm going to take out because, like I said, I've never been good at growing tomatoes. Weird, isn't it? The dwarf red Chateau mulberry, which started looking really bad. Again, I'm not too sure what's going on here. This newer growth though is looking fine. You're pecking my feet. I've got two of them now. So I think that's going to recover. Next year it'll just bring out a heap of new growth again. But I'm not overly worried. As you can see, look, that's new growth coming out there. I haven't had a second crop though, which is a bit disappointing. It should be coming through about now, but maybe we'll get some coming out of here. Alright, we got the groomy chummer, which is getting inundated by tomatoes. Another reason for me to take them out. Looking a bit yellow though. I need some fertiliser on that one. And then we've got the Brazilian cherry, which seems to be doing fine here. Again, inundated with tomatoes. You can see it's fallen over. I'm going to have to take them out. The pomelo, this is the Carter's Red. And all that lighter colour is all new growth this season. Very new. This one, I've only just received this. We have a second soursop here, which is not doing anywhere near as good as the other one. In fact, the whole top's died off and I'm left with this little bottom bit here. We'll see how that one goes. And we've got the almond here, which is taken off. This is dwarf almond, which is taken off, and I've got a heap of new growth on here. I'll prune that right down at fence level when it drops all its leaves, and that's just a bamboo cutting there. I'll leave the front yard for a separate tour, but that's pretty much the update. Oh, hang on, most importantly, the dragon fruit. This has really surprised me because these were bought as cuttings. Alright, I'm back. The battery went flat on my GoPro, which was quite surprising. It went flat really quick. But I was in the process of showing you the dragon fruit, and I must admit I'm really impressed because these were all bought cuttings. This one was just this bit here, this one here, this was just this one here. Oh sorry, no, it was this too. And I thought it would take 2 years to reach the top, and we are literally, well, pretty much at the top. Well, one is. And then we've got this new one coming out here, and I've still been taking off any growth. Like you can see, I just knocked one off here today. There's a couple more I've knocked off to stop it from growing. I think that was it there. just to encourage one until it gets over the top of this trellis. And here you can see these two are still going really well. So I'm really happy with the way the dragon fruit has been growing. So easily next year I think I'll get them to start coming over this. And while the battery was changing, I've redone my garden bed. I'll plant this out with some more veggies in here. But pretty much it was what was in there. I turned it, loosened it all up, emptied all these bags I had the tomatoes in, and then I grabbed one of these buckets. I took all the top out of the chicken coop. So it's got some nice fresh chicken manure in there. So I filled one of these up, sprinkled it over the top and mixed it in, and then I've put a thick layer of sugarcane mulch over the top. But essentially this is what I'm growing in. Nice and rich. Smells amazing. It's like nice and fresh. But as you can see, nice and healthy. And lots of worms in here. I'll just cover this back up. And I'll plant this out. I've got some onion and some beetroot I'll put in. That's not going to take up all the room, obviously. It'll take up half of it. And I might get some more lettuce later on. I've got some growing in here. That's the cost. Not my favourite. My favourite's an iceberg. But I couldn't find any. People are definitely growing more at home, I think, because you get to the weekend and it's pretty much sold out down at Bunnings. It's crazy. Alright, so look, that is... Oh, and also I potted up my chilies as well. So here we've got a Thai chili, all very young. Here I did a swap the other day with a lady that owns a wholesale nursery. I swapped, what did I swap? I can't even remember. Oh, Tamarillo cuttings. So I gave a Tamarillo cutting and 2 avocados off the house, and she gave me 2 Italian chili plants. We'll see how they are. And then I went and purchased today some habanero chilies. I want some hot ones. Make some hot sauce. Again, I have grown these before and I've killed them. You do have to overwinter these habaneros and like the ghost chilies and stuff like that, because they hate the cold and frost. And probably I didn't prune them at all. Alright, that's it. The back garden has been updated. The next video will be an update on the front, because I have put some more plants in the ground, and so we'll update that. That's going pretty good out there too. Alright, thanks for watching everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. That would be fantastic if you did that, and give me a thumbs up as well. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care everyone. Bye.